We have risen from the ashes to school the masses. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 193 of the Scholars of Wrestling show. This is Scholar Tarek here, your Scholars of Wrestling champion. Holding this, well, not holding, but okay. Now that I was going for it, holding this title with pride. And as you can see, I have no co-hosts with me. Scholars Jeff and Brian both are under the weather, but let's be fair. Let's be honest. They're here because they just can't handle my greatness at being the Scholars of Wrestling champion. So there's no eyeball rolling. There's no, oh, you're not really a hard defending champion tonight. No, none of that. It's just me and this beautiful piece of plastic to talk about all the events that happened this week in the world of professional wrestling. So let's get right down to it. We're going into RAW and SmackDown, decide which one is the better show, and let's start it. Oh, hold on one second. We'll do it live with Raw, and also known as continuing build for the Elimination Chamber. And yeah, it's actually a very steady build. No real complaints. Few, but not a lot. Let's start with the continuing Elimination Chamber qualifying matches, which is first that opened the Raw. No opening promo this week. That's a good sign. With Roman Reigns versus Bray Wyatt. And nothing really can be said about these two. These two always work wonders together. They put on a very solid Raw match. And I believe they said Bray Wyatt tried to hit two Sister Abigails. Or he did hit two Sister Abigails on Roman Reigns. But Roman Reigns kicks out of four attitude adjustments, including one off the top turnbuckle. Yeah, he's going to be kicking out at two Sister Abigails, sadly. And one spear obviously takes out Bray Wyatt. There's really nothing more that can be said. Roman Reigns qualifies. This is obviously building up for him to face Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Spoiler alert for Elimination Chamber. Oh, such a surprise to no one. But all in all, it really was a good match. Bray Wyatt he got in some good offense, and it all ends with Roman Reigns taking the victory and an appearance from Woken Matt Hardy to continue his feud with Bray Wyatt. Let's see. Then you have the Intercontinental Champion, The Miz, face off against Apollo Crews. Another solid match. No real complaints on this one. Miz did a great opening promo before the match, explaining how this 2018 is the year of The Miz, and he's going to continue it by winning the Elimination Chamber and defeating Brock Lesnar to become the new Universal Champion. Way to go, Miz. Continue to be awesome. And he did continue to be awesome with a successful win against Apollo Crews. Now he's in the Chamber match. And so it leaves the sixth spot open, which, in my opinion, it should have been, with all the injuries that are happening around him, it should have been Seth Rollins getting himself in a qualifying match. Maybe against either Sheamus or Cesaro, since they want to keep him in that feud when it comes to him and Jason Jordan. But no, from what it's being said, that is Seth Rollins is going to be kept off Elimination Chamber, at least match-wise this week. Or not this week, at the coming event. Which is really disappointing to hear. But they already announced that next week on Raw is going to be a fatal four-way for the final spot. The second chance, I believe they call it, between Finn Balor, Woken Matt Hardy, Bray Wyatt, and Apollo Crews. And let's be honest, it's most likely going to be Finn Balor. And if what the rumors for their WrestleMania match is hinting at. Looks like it's going to be Finn Balor and The Miz. Maybe they'll plant something there, starting with the Elimination Chamber. As long as it's not a 6-man tag at Mania with the Balor Club versus the Miz Taraj. Excuse me. Because it's WrestleMania. You have the Intercontinental Championship. Me being an Intercontinental Championship fanboy, that title has to be defended at Mania. Excuse me. It's kind of a pain that there is no one else here to agree with me or disagree with me to really keep this conversation going. But since it's just me tonight, it's my opinion that only matters. That's the scholar's way. Scholar Tarek's way is the scholar's way. Because, look at this. I'm going to keep going. I'm being the smug champion. All right. Continuing on with the Elimination Chamber build-up. Not a huge fan of what's going to happen. You have Kurt Angle come out, simply put, he announces the participants for the first ever women's Elimination Chamber. That's it. And the names are, let me pull out my notes here, Bayley, Mickie James, Mandy Rose, which, to be perfectly honest, I hope she kind of breaks off from Absolution to join up with Goldust, because what Goldust is posting with his pictures and how they worked with the Mix Max Challenge, Mandy Rose can do so much more with Goldust being her manager and all that instead of being with Absolution. Because now with Paige being injured and Sonya Deville is really being the front and center. Oh, mine's wandering. Back to the participants. The other one, Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, speak of the devil, and Sasha. Yay. Just what we need, more Sasha Banks. But yeah, back to what I was saying. I hope Mandy Rose eventually goes with Goldust. Have her be like the protege for Goldust. Something that they hinted at when Goldust first broke off with R-Truth and he turned heel. That he will have his future star, or if I recall correctly. And Mandy Rose and Goldust, they actually do fit. But that's just me. And Paige can just manage Sonya Deville by herself. Because really, those two don't really mix very well. So breaking them apart, have her go with Goldust, have Sonya stick with Paige being the fighter of the group. Go for it. Now, another down point to Kurt Angle announcing the participants. Oh, and of course, because it's the Women's Elimination Chamber, the Raw Women's Champion Alexa Bliss is defending the Raw Women's title in that match. So it leads her to come down and really complain about it. And at first, I was with what she was saying when it comes to her having to defend the championship at Elimination Chamber, and Brock Lesnar doesn't. So Brock Lesnar is getting more privileges being champion than I do. You're looking at Brock Lesnar as a greater champion than I am as the women's champion. And as soon as she starts throwing you're not treating me the same manner as Brock Lesnar, you're obviously a sexist. You look down on the women's wrestlers. What was the point of that? Do we really need to throw the sexist card in this storyline? No, we don't. It's just more stupid. Trying to think of the right word for it. It's not coming to my head right now, but it's just more. It's like, you think you could, because I have to defend the the title at the Elimination Chamber, and Brock Lesnar does it, means that Brock Lesnar gets more privileges than I do. Well, I mean, at first I was with it because I've made it very vocal on this show. I'm very tired of Brock Lesnar as the Universal Champion. They're going on about how he's been champion for almost a year, it will be a year when it comes to WrestleMania, and he's only had, let's see, maybe 5 title defenses. The SummerSlam match versus Braun versus Samoa Joe, and versus Braun and Kane at at Royal Rumble. Yeah, like that's it. I think 5 times. And then you had him versus AJ, and that wasn't a title match. It was just a champion versus champion. But yeah, I'm tired of Brock Lesnar as being Universal Champion. As much as I hate to say it, I can't wait to see Roman win it just to get booed out of WrestleMania again. But then Kurt is like, "Oh, it's not me." It's like, I have nothing but respect for women. Do you, the WWE Universe, want to see Alexa Bliss defend the women's the championship at the Elimination Chamber? Yes, yes, yes. It was a very weak segment. Very weak. Also not a fan of really the just announcing the participants. I would hope for qualifying matches, but also at the same time, really looking at it, you can't really have qualifying matches because that's, other than Nia Jax and Asuka, which are in their own match at Elimination Chamber, which if Nia Jax beats Asuka, she's in the Women's Championship match at WrestleMania. Even though everyone's already pointed out, Asuka has not really officially made her decision on which champion she wants to face. So I can't wait to see where they go on with that, especially with the rumor going around is that Asuka was going to face Charlotte for the SmackDown Women's title at WrestleMania, and Nia Jax is facing Alexa Bliss for the Raw Women's Championship. And yeah, I really don't know where they're going to go from there. Maybe it's leading something to Sasha's eventual heel turn, which they've been hinting at for the past couple of weeks. Who knows? They're starting to, at least I'll give them this. They actually are starting to build stories when it comes to the women's division, on more likely on Raw than SmackDown, but at least they're building. It's not just copy paste. Let's just throw all these women together in one match and all these women together in one match on each show. Excuse me. And then Raw closes off with the main event being Braun Strowman, the people who were already at the time qualified for the Elimination Chamber: Braun Strowman, John Cena, and Elias. Who wants to walk with Elias? I wants to walk with Elias. To be fair, I'm also a big Braun guy. It was a fun triple threat match. The winner gets the 6th spot, gets released in the 6th spot of the Elimination Chamber. It seemed pretty clear that they were going to give Elias this one because he was the one who kind of needed it the most. I mean, John Cena's been the face of the company for over 10 years, and Braun is Braun. That's all that really needs to be said. Fun triple threat. John Cena and Elias did a lot of double teaming to take Braun out because, again, it's Braun. But in the end, Braun hit his power slam on Cena, tried to hit it on Elias, and Elias reversed it, throwing Braun out of the ring. It's really weird to say that, actually. Coming out of my mouth, it's really weird saying that. Elias throwing Braun, or let's make this better, pushing Braun out of the ring and stealing the pin on John Cena, which is good for Elias, pinning the face of the company. Granted, it wasn't really him. He wasn't the one who did the damage to keep Cena down, but it's still him stealing the pin. It's just, I like the slow progression on Elias being a really good heel. Good heat magnet. He knows how to make the crowd hate him, but hate him correctly. And of course, Braun, being the new big baby face of the WWE, takes down Cena and takes down Elias. Oh, you want more? Okay. Power slam on Cena, power slam on Elias. All right, now I'm just going to climb on the turnbuckle and celebrate because Braun! And that was Raw. It was, like I said, it was a very good Raw. Had some down moments, preferably the Alexa Bliss stuff, but, well, 50-50 on the Alexa Bliss stuff. But her segment gave me the most criticisms. And nothing really else to say except Seth Rollins having Roman be his tag team partner in the last. Oop! Oh, power went out. Ugh! Hold on 1 second. Ugh! That's what happens when you do the show live. Whoops! There we go. Ugh! Again, that's what happens when the show is live. The power goes out. The lights turn off because the motion sensor did not detect motion because of the set. All right. But yeah, Jason Jordan continuing being the little douchey guy who's trying to help but causing more harm than good. All in all, when it comes to Raw, it was very good. Good build up for Elimination Chamber, and it makes me look forward to seeing it next week. Now moving on to SmackDown Live. And now it's them building up for their pay-per-view Fastlane. Granted, they got Fastlane. Good for them. Yay. Well, they had Elimination Chamber last year. I'm sure Raw needs to have that match. And when it comes to SmackDown Live, looking at my notes, seeing what happened on SmackDown Live, not in a bad way. It's just my brain doesn't remember everything. So the show opened with a promo with Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan, continuing on their "I trust you, but I think you also are having a motive behind your actions," but with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Shane making the assumption that Daniel is using Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn he's living the wrestler in them. I'm explaining this wrong, but since Daniel Bryan wants to get back in the ring so bad, he's using Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn as like they're his avatar. It's the best. That's really the best way I put it. The exact word that Shane McMahon used, I can't think of off the top of my head. But yeah, he's using Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn as avatars because he wants to get back in the ring so bad, which Daniel Bryan really took offense to that. Hopefully this is leading to Daniel Bryan getting back in the ring, hopefully at SummerSlam, since that's his ultimatum if he doesn't get a match until between now and WrestleMania. Wait, did I say? Yeah, between then and WrestleMania, he's not going to re-sign. He's going to go out in another company to wrestle. But who are we kidding? WWE, be smart. Give Daniel a WrestleMania match. Give him a part-timer position. He says he's in great shape, and he's readjusting his wrestling format to be less damaging to his neck and head. So just give the man a chance, and if he messes up, it's on him. But only time will tell for WrestleMania. And then that brings AJ Styles out, and he pointing out that he's getting tired of being he's basically being a pawn for Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. He's like, everything that's happening to him is the result of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, when it should be about me, the face that runs the place, the champ that runs the camp, the man that took... This is the house that... SmackDown is the house that AJ Styles built. All that AJ Styles promoting. But yeah. He came out. He said he was going to It doesn't matter who wins between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn for the #1 contendership for the WWE Championship at Fastlane. He's going to show he's a defending champ. Next, we got the continuing story on the Bludgeon Brothers and their journey to becoming future SmackDown Tag Team Champions. No matter what past guest Dave said, for those who were watching our live reaction to the Royal Rumble, he was just completely against the Bludgeon Brothers becoming SmackDown Tag Team Champions, which he's 150% wrong. They will be SmackDown Tag Team Champions sooner rather than later. And I just love the slow build that they're giving after the Bludgeon Brothers destroyed this local talent. The Usos came down to show that they weren't intimidated by the Bludgeon Brothers in any way, shape, or form. And I like that instead of facing them head on, Harper is holding Rowan back and saying, not yet, soon. Soon. Excuse me 1 second. Now because of the whole lights going out, the motion sensor, it's making me nervous. Motion, motion, motion. All right. Hopefully that'll last for a good while. Oh, at least until the episode's over. And yeah, the Usos came out showing that they weren't intimidated. Then they just did a promo saying that they are the SmackDown champions for tag team champions for a reason, and they will the Uso Asylum, I believe they call it. They run the asylum. Next, continuing with there was a lot of tag team on this episode, and I actually kind of like it. Yeah, you had Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin cutting a promo backstage, talking down on Breezango and the Ascension, basically saying that they are the best thing on the tag team division, and getting rid of all the stupid things, hence Breezango, and now their focus is on the Ascension, and they dominated against the Ascension. I just hope that they are going somewhere with Gable and Benjamin. Hopefully it's not just continuing. It's like, oh, we're the best on this tag team division. Now we're just stuck with Breezango and the Ascension, who are in definitely recent times the real joke of the tag team division. Breezango at one point was almost being like a legit contenders, which at one point they were legit contenders because they went for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. But now they're just barely wrestling. They're just doing before backstage segments now. I believe it's Facebook exclusive or YouTube exclusive with their fashion files. I believe so. Now that Gable and Benjamin showed dominance against the Ascension, now they move past them and move on to another tag team. Maybe bring back the Colognes, bring them back on TV. Again, one thing the Colognes need is a manager. Bring back Carlito. But there's nothing they can do with that one. And now it's that's the big story, which was Rusev. Speaking of Rusev, happy Rusev Day, everyone. Versus Bobby Roode for the United States Championship. Now this was a really good match. I didn't have any complaints on this one. Yeah, it was a very good match. Rusev looked strong. Bobby Roode looked strong. It was a great title defense, which Bobby Roode successfully defended his championship. And while he was celebrating, all out of nowhere, an RKO from Randy Orton, RKOing Bobby Roode, RKOing Aiden English, and RKOing Rusev. Now it looks like Randy Orton inserted himself in the United States title picture, which, to be fair, he and the United States Championship really need at least with the mid card, now you have Bobby Roode, Rusev, and now Randy Orton put in. I'm all for it. Nothing else really to say. It's built. We're starting to really build a mid card, which, really thinking about it, SmackDown kind of needs right now. Like, the real big difference between them and Raw is there certain storylines aren't getting that much attention, and hopefully with now Randy Orton actually doing something and actually being a former multi-time world champion, help with Rusev and Bobby Roode. Charlotte facing the Riot Squad. I don't even know which one she faced this week. Riot Squad number 2, since Ruby Riot's number 1. No, I don't think it was Sarah Logan. Tracy Morgan? I believe it was Tracy Morgan. Okay. I got nothing. Charlotte looks great. Destroying what was supposed to be an up-and-coming heel team that was showing dominance, but now they're just not. And then the big main event, which is Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens for the number 1 contendership for the WWE Championship. It's Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. They pretty much have been wrestling with each other for God knows how many years. What they did was beautiful, and I love that they are really focusing on the aggression, the passion that Sami Zayn put in this match. He's not just Kevin Owens' buddy. He is Sami Zayn. And there really isn't anything more than can be said, except these guys work beautifully together. Not to the surprise of no one. And of course, Sami, with AJ Styles on commentary, Sami gets into his face. AJ's like, I'm not having any of this shit between either of you, so I'm just going to kick the shit out of both of you. So the match ends in a disqualification, which leads Daniel Bryan to come out and say, okay, now that since there is no definitive winner, which I believe there was with Sami Zayn winning, so does that make him? No. That's not how it went. It went with Daniel Bryan saying, with that ending, we're going to have a triple threat match for the WWE Championship at Fastlane between AJ Styles, the defending champion, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn. Yes! 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 And I think the big highlight on that one is something that didn't even happen on the show. It was just Shane McMahon's reaction, which his reaction as he posted on a tweet saying, well, it's not going to be a triple threat match. Next week is we're going to have Dolph Ziggler coming back versus Baron Corbin. We're going to have the winner being put in the WWE Championship to make it a fatal 4-way. And my response? Let's go Ziggler! Have this whole thing where he dropped the United States title actually mean something. Put him in a spot where he is actually in a main event position. And as much as Scholar Jeff, Scholar Brian, guest Dave, our friend Charlie, what so many people have said is that why bother putting Dolph Ziggler in the main event? Because we all know what the outcome's going to be. He's just going to be the pin guy. Well, if that's the case, I don't think that's going to be the case. I actually think they're going to do something with Dolph Ziggler. Is he going to win the WWE Championship at Fastlane? No. But I think this is going to be the start of something. Baron Corbin's absolutely nowhere right now, and he shouldn't be anywhere near the WWE Championship right now. And I want Dolph Ziggler relinquishing the United States title being something similar to when Stone Cold Steve Austin gave the Intercontinental Championship to The Rock back in the 90s, saying, I got bigger fish to fry. I know most people are going to think, wow, you're really comparing Dolph Ziggler to Stone Cold Steve Austin? So in a certain way, yes, when it comes to storyline purposes, a man who won the mid-card title looks at it, he's like, well, I'm looking at this. You don't deserve me being United States Championship. I'm putting this down. I have bigger fish to fry. Hopefully that'll actually lead to something. A very, very good show. When it comes to Raw versus SmackDown Live, when it comes to deciding which show was the better one this week, and although both shows really had, like I said, it had some really up moments, it had a couple down moments, really, this may be a little, I may be in the minimal crowd here, but I'm going to go with SmackDown Live. I just happen to be a little more invested on what SmackDown presented to me. It was nothing against Raw. If anything, it was it was very close, very close. But yeah, I have to give it to SmackDown. I like what they're doing with Fastlane, on the build for Fastlane. As much, I also do like what they're building on for Elimination Chamber. And hopefully it just leads to where it all ends up on the grandest stage of them all, WrestleMania, baby. Woo! But yeah, that's what I thought of this week in wrestling, Raw and SmackDown Live. Now, I'm leaving it all to you. What did you guys think of Raw versus SmackDown? Did you think Raw was the better show? Or did you think SmackDown was the better show? Or were they equal? It was very close for me. Very close. And if you like what you saw here, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can find us on our Facebook page. Look up the Scholars of Wrestling show. And for all those listening in on Filling the Void, hopefully you guys can watch this beautiful face as well as listen to this beautiful voice, which is the Scholars of Wrestling champion. That's right. I'm still going on with that. You can also follow us on our Twitters. You can find our Scholars page at ScholarsOW. And you can follow fellow scholars, Scholar Jeff at I'm Robbie Rage, and Scholar Brian at Atomic Beanpole. And you can find me, the Scholars of Wrestling champion, at the Avataric. Well, that was actually a pretty good episode this week, if I do say so myself, being the champ and all. Of course, I can hold an episode of the Scholars of Wrestling on my own. I wouldn't be the Scholars of Wrestling champion if I wasn't able to do this. Don't need this anymore. Don't need this anymore. I could just put this on my shoulder. Thank you all for joining me tonight, and we'll see you next week. Of course, I'm Scholar Tarek. This has been the Scholars of Wrestling, and you have just been schooled. You're welcome. Good night, everyone. See you all next week for more discussions, wrestling related, because it's the Scholars of Wrestling. Why not? It's a wrestling show. What show would this be otherwise? All right, I'm rambling too much. Good night, everybody.